Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies. I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with Presidency. Obi clash over fuel subsidy, forex policies. You can see that on page 26 and on page 5. Undume to Tinubu. 22 PDP governors endorsed Jonathan, yet he lost woefully. He is a lone wolf opposition, that's according to Presidency. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. While the Guardian's leading story says 24 years later, 43 new operators target telcos underserved amid concerns. You can see that on page 6. On business page 19, Otedola to consolidate stake in First Banks as Otsudeko Odukale consider exit. Wike rallies PDP stakeholders in Abuja high stakes meeting. Obi Oti relaunch obedient movement in Abuja today. 100,000 rickety containers dumped in Nigerian ports. Group laments. Miriam Abacha fought IBB's claim on June 12 election annulment. You can see that story on news page 19. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, subsidy. Obi demands transparency on savings. Presidency calls him desperate. You can see that on news page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And lastly, the Punch leading story says defections. Hurricane Tinubu sweeps 12 more senators, reps. APC courts 4 PDP governors, 10 Akwa Ibom National Assembly members to join ENO, 2 Edo Nasarawa senators to quit SDP and Labour Party. Obi sparks a firestorm over Tinubu's subsidy figures. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, tears, joy as Nigerian pilgrims depart Saudi after Hajj. You can see that on page 28. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Life. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and the holiday is over. So welcome back to work. Now let's move straight to the stories. The presidency and presidential candidate of the Labour Party (LP) in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, clashed yesterday over the fuel subsidy removal and foreign exchange policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. While Obi noted that both policies were haphazardly implemented by the government to plunge the country into economic crisis, the president accused Obi of being too desperate for power and lacked understanding of governance. Although the former Anambra State governor agreed that the removal of fuel subsidy was necessary, he, however, quarreled with the manner it was executed. He also asked the Tinubu administration to account for the money saved so far from the removal of subsidy and also show proof of its expenditure on such infrastructure as education, health, and poverty reduction as it claimed. Now, recall that President Tinubu had on his inauguration on May 29, 2023, announced the removal of fuel subsidy and flotation of forex exchange, triggering the economic crisis the country had been facing, especially with regards to inflation and the devaluation of the naira. Obi acknowledged that the subsidy regime was ridiculed with criminality and corruption and needed to end, but criticized the current administration's speech, describing it as poorly executed. Obi questioned the management of the fund, saying from the subsidy remover, since we are told that we removed it because we don't want to borrow and that the funds we allow for investment in critical infrastructure, billions saved. Where is it? Where is it invested in critical areas of development? Everybody knows critical areas of development, education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. Have any of these three improved? No. End of quote. Obi said a fair pricing template should have been negotiated with stakeholders to cushion the impact on citizens. He also addressed the decision to float the naira, saying the policy wasn't inherently wrong but must be backed by economic productivity. Since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's announcement on May 9, 2023, ended the fuel subsidy. The price of petrol has surged from 190 naira to over 850 naira per litre. The administration also adopted a currency flow policy, allowing market forces to determine the naira's value. But replying to Obi yesterday, Special Advisor to the President on Policy Communications, Daniel Boala, described the Labour Party's presidential candidate as a shallow personality who was not well grounded in issues of economics and governance. Obi, in a statement posted via his official X account, stated that he was surprised Obi could agree with the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially on fuel subsidy removal and the unification of foreign exchange, but emphasized that it was obvious the former Anambra governor and other opposition figures were simply after taking over power all the while. In what seemed an account of receipt from a fuel subsidy remover, the National Orientation Agency (NOA) weekend said the federal government has so far generated $84 billion from removal. The agency said the funds generated have enhanced the funding 40 critical road projects across the country in the past 2 years. But with the bold decision to remove it, Nigeria is now saving billions and investing in real infrastructure. That's what he said. Now let's move on. Now, if you're a lover of fashion, family, and all-out glamour, then Ojude Oba in Ijebu was a place to be on Sunday. Imagine a city drenched in color, every hue imaginable dialed up to the max, and you will only begin to grasp the vibrant energy that lit up the streets. Held each year shortly after Eid el-Kabir, this isn't just a fashion parade, though the style is next level. Ojide Oba is a deeply rooted cultural celebration for the people of Ijebu, a powerful blend of history, tradition, and personal flair. At its heart are the Regbe, the age-grade groups who gather in coordinated splendor to honor the Awujale of Ijebu land. And this year, they did not come to play. The Regbe transformed the street into their personal runway. Some made a regal entrance on horseback, upholding their family's legacy, while others made a grand stroll that felt straight out of a fashion magazine. The women dazzled in buba and iro, crafted from lace, ashoke, adire, brocade, and damask. But the magic was in the details. Gaily matched shoes, shoes matched purses, and purses matched jewelries. Some groups even wore identical accessories, styled to perfection from head to toe. Not to be outdone, the men made their own bold statement, stepping out in striking agbada of every color you can imagine. Their caps were crisp, coral beads adorned their necks and wrists, and walking stick became statement pieces. And just when you thought the looks couldn't go any other, the sunglasses showed up, oversized, colorful, vintage, sporty. Each pair added its own attitude to the ensemble. Ojude Oba wasn't just a cultural event, it was a catwalk, a family reunion, and a fashion revolution all rolled into one. And that's the Ojude Oba every year. And now 2025 on just finished on Sunday, and people are looking forward to 2026 Ojude Oba. And of course, you have to give it to up to the Ijebus for the fashion, everything. It was just the fashion statement was there. It was a runway, and everybody, a lot of people who saw it enjoyed it. So both those who did not attend were able to feed their eyes with the fashion and the things on social media, and a lot of celebrities also attended this Ojude Oba. So in all, it was fantastic. But this is where we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website www.vanguardngr.com. Have a lovely day.